Do you know what is MNC? MNC is actually a business organization that functions on a global basis, which is not subject to or loyal to any particular government or state. The objectives of MNC. First, it is to maximize the shareholders' wealth. Secondly, it is for global profit maximization. It is also to implement transnational business strategies and staffing that transcend national boundaries. And finally, it is to promote the international trade and contribute the integration of industry. Penang is a state in Malaysia which is highly urbanized and industrialized. Penang is one of the most developed and economically important states in Malaysia, as well as a thriving tourist destination. Its heterogeneous population is highly diverse in ethnicity, culture, language, and religion. Thus, Penang is also known as the Pearl of the Orient. Penang tourism industry has grown rapidly since financial crisis 2008 as Penang transformed from manufacturing sector to tourism sector. Evidenced by the presence of multinational company MNC hotels such as Shangri-La, Sheraton, Hard Rock and more than 10 other hotel establishments also take part of Penang economic growth. Malaysia ranked as among the world's top 20 attractive countries for foreign direct investment, while Penang made the largest contribution to it. Penang is one of the top 3 tourist destinations and investor locations of choice in Malaysia. The increasing of the total visitors year by year is supported by many factors such as transportation, accommodation, the emerging of the tourist site and so on. Accommodations have become one of the most important factors towards Penang tourism, with the intervention of the MNC hotels in Penang has contributed a lot towards their tourism growth. There are positive and negative impact of MNC on economic tourism sector, which is the positive impact to increase in GDP, government revenue and foreign exchange. Over the years, service industry is significantly contributing to the GDP growth, investment and employment as well as strengthening the services account of balance of payment. The related service industries like accommodation, food and beverage, transportation, entertainment and so on have also received a chance in their growth as a result of the rapid increase in the tourist arrival. Penang received 4.4 million tourist arrivals for the first 10 months of 2013, and the state is expected to record between 5.2 million to 5.5 million tourist arrivals by the end of the year. In 2009, Penang contributed about 164 million, which is 57% of the country's medical tourism industry, and in 2010, the figure increased to 218 million, which is 66%. In 2012, 1 million hotel rooms were sold in Georgetown and 729,334 rooms were sold in the beach areas. Before year 2008, Penang was mainly focusing on manufacturing industry. From the chart, it shows that Penang's GDP growth before the year 2008 is directly affected by the world and national's GDP growth. Until year 2008, the global financial crisis, GDP has dramatically dropped worldwide and the economic in Penang was involuntarily affected. The second positive impact would be to create more job opportunities. MNC brings in a lot of job opportunities, especially in tourism industry. The more MNC hotel comes in, the more job opportunities will be created. The size of Penang's labor force grew by 11% between the year of 2009 and 2012. The unemployment rate in the state has fluctuated around 2% since the global financial crisis of 2008. MNC hotels will need to employ local people in order to diversify the local culture into the hotel culture. For example, MNC Hotel hires local people to work in the kitchen to prepare traditional local foods, as some guests would prefer to enjoy Penang's local food in a better environment. Apparently, more job opportunities will be created to the local. The third positive impact to the economic would be to increase the investment. MNC hotels not only bring in a lot of foreign exchange, it can also bring a lot of investment to Malaysia. New MNC hotels were opened in 2013 to 2014, which includes the new wing of the E&O, which is Eastern and Oriental Hotel. The presence of MNC may improve the reputation of the host country, and other large corporations may follow suit and locate as well. The hotels and tourism subsector attracted a total of 122 projects with approved total investments of RM7 billion in 2013. A major project approved in the hotels and tourism subsector was an integrated hotel project in Penang Hotels. As more higher-ranking and well-known MNC hotels started to invest in Penang, good reputation of Penang tourism industry will be built and result in attracting more tourists by visiting Penang. The negative impact to the economic in Penang would be, first, leakage. The direct income for an area is the amount of tourist expenditure that remains locally after taxes, profits and wages, which is paid outside the area. In most of all inclusive package tours, about 80% of travelers' expenditure goes to the airlines, hotels and other international companies, but not to local businesses or workers, which means that most of the revenue will be returned back to the home country. Huge amount of revenue generated by the MNC hotels will be transferred back to MNC home country. Even though Penang tourism industry has generated significant of contribution to the local economic, but high leakage rate still results in less revenue which remains locally. The second negative impact would be the inflation. Tourism developments often generate inflationary effects on local economics, which relating to land, property and goods. As building up a new hotel, it needs land, but land in Penang are limited. When there is more MNCs investing in Penang in order to protect local community, the price of the land and the properties would increase. When the price of the land and properties increase, this might result in inflation to the area. However, MNC will then transfer these increases to the product or services which they proceed. Thus, the price of the goods and services will also increase, and this will directly affect the local people as well as the Penang tourism economy. High inflation will affect tourists' decision whether to visit Penang or not. There are positive and negative impacts on MNC on the social tourism sector. Positive impact helps the development of rural area and local community. Some MNC hotels such as Hard Rock Hotel, Park Royal, Penang Resort, Holiday Inn would rather choose rural areas like Batu Ferringhi in Penang to set up their business, as the rent of the land is way cheaper and wages of the labor is lower compared with other city area. This helps to develop the rural area and the local community. Developing a rural area, MNC have to work with the government in order to upgrade some of the facilities and infrastructures to fulfill tourism industry needs such as road, electricity and water supply. It is not only benefit to the tourists, so does the local communities. The second positive would be to improve the standard of living and the quality of life. MNC brings in different types of hotels to Penang, such as full-service hotels, resorts and spa. In the early stage, you can only find limited service hotels in Penang. But now, you can also find full-service hotels in Penang, such as Hard Rock Hotel Penang and Shangri-La Rasa Sayang Resort. Local people may have better opportunities to work in a 5-star hotel with a way higher income. Thus, as changes in working environment and increase in income, it might cause the quality of life of the local people to also improve. By improving local people's income, they may have greater ability to provide higher quality of products and services to tourists, such as better craft works and homestay. On the other hand, MNC would also influence the local SME in changing the service trends, like upgrading the local businesses by implementing some technologies such as CCTVs and hotel management systems. There are also negative impact of social to Penang. The first is to create social problems. MNC brings in a lot of job opportunities. However, there is always an issue where hotel sectors always face shortage of manpower in certain lower position jobs. In order to overcome this problem, employers would choose to employ foreign workers or even immigrants. At the same time, increasing in foreign workers and immigrants will bring in issue to the society. For example, foreign workers are not properly screened when they enter Malaysia, will result bringing in various illness and bad hygiene conditions. There are also cases like foreign workers who were holding valid working permits but end up doing illegal stuffs like drugs. All of these negative issues will result in bad image of Penang. Negative societal issues will be part of the consideration of tourists to visit Penang tourism industry. The positive impact of environment to Penang would be environmental preservation. A very good example of MNC hotel which is performing well in protecting the environment is Shangri-La Rasa Sayang Resort and Spa. Shangri-La Rasa Sayang Penang was bestowed the Asian Green Hotel Award 2012 till 2014 for the 4 consecutive years. Also, they unveil bottling plant which translate into a reduction of approximately 4,708 kgs of plastic drinking bottles per year. Also, the 1 liter glass bottle of drinking water will replace the plastic mineral water bottles. This is a good signal to the local society, as these positive impacts will be a new trend for the local hotels to follow. Thereby, local people or even tourists will be aware with the environment preservation. In terms of this, MNC hotels like Shangri-La Rasa Sayang Penang plays a very important role in protecting the Penang environment. The negative impact of environment to Penang is it degrades the environment. Tourism activities causes high consumption of resources and generates excessive waste. Large increase in the number of visitors will not only degrade the environment but will also change the ambience. Water pollution has been the most common complaint at the Batu Ferringhi Penang. The growth of MNC hotels and lack of development control have resulted in numerous environmental problems. This includes sewage and soil water disposal, limited water supply, beach degradation, overcrowding, and coral reef damage. Sewage disposal was a very serious problem along at Batu Ferringhi during the construction of these MNC hotels. Sewage was directly disposed into the sea and caused the seawater was unfit for swimming and even caused coral reef damage and contaminated by the E. coli bacteria. How does MNC helps in developing tourism sector? MNC stands a very important role on helping Penang in developing tourism sectors by improving tourism reputations whereby to attract more tourists to visit Penang. Therefore, a well-development of hotel industry can make great changes on the reputation of tourists for visiting Penang as hotels provided accommodations for tourists to stay. For the industry as a whole, it would be possible to strengthen the innovative capacity by a more profound diffusion of trends from the MNC to the local hotel companies. The one-sided focus on the MNC for innovations maintains a situation where Penang depends on the foreign innovation systems. Thereby, Penang misses the possibilities to fully exploit the potential for creating an innovation environment rooted in Penang. The high concentration of hotel companies in Penang has caused that the hotel industries has developed appreciable competitive advantages. However, the MNCs still rely on their home-based innovation systems, while the local hotel companies mostly based with the local culture. The challenge is thus to strengthen the local base for innovations by developing the local hotel industry. As the development of the local hotel industry is to great extent depends on the market and technology from the MNCs. An important measure to strengthen the base for innovations is to increase the amount of business relations between the local companies and MNCs. The creation of more business relation between the MNCs and the local hotel companies will also help in developing tourism by refurbishing and leveraging the cultural assets of the city, so as to maximize the benefits to the local economy from tourism visitors and root the MNCs more deeply in Penang. The links between the MNC and local hotel companies have supported the creation and innovation environment and competencies their local hotel companies to compete on the world market. Many local hotel companies are now facing high dependence on few customers, such as local guests or long-stay guests, and therefore these are vulnerable to the changes in the strategies of these customers. An important way to help out the local hotel companies of this situation is to follow the new marketing and services trends which once brought in back by the MNCs. Once the local hotel companies are well developed, it will directly increase the tourist reputation as at one point that the standard of services provided by the local hotel companies have improved. On the other hand, the local hotel companies are still perfectly preserved the local culture, which makes Penang become a unique and innovative tourist destination.
MNC hotels play an important role in developing of a tourism destination, as MNC hotels are mostly well known in many countries, thus having great opportunities to rebrand a tourism destination and attractive and more tourists to visit. MNC hotels also bring in new technologies and trends into the developing market, whereas too many MNC hotels probably will lead to increase in competition. Therefore, adequate amount of MNCs can help in development of a tourism destination, while too much will only result in negative effects to the local economy.